You have recently captured someone's attention with this anomaly energy. It feels like this person has been very captivated by you very unexpectedly. This is somebody that was kind of just going about their day, going about their life. Maybe they are, open to like meeting other people and exploring love. Maybe love is something that's not like a top priority for them at this particular point in time, and yet they have encountered you. They have seen you, they've witnessed you. Your energy has kind of become very apparent to this person, and it's almost stopped them in their tracks, sort of like, who is that? Who is this person? Something where they can't do anything more at this point than kind of just stand there in wonder and kind of look at you. This may be somebody that has encountered you on social media. They've seen something that you've posted recently, and it's kind of like, okay, now begins the process of, that crush develops, a secret admirer for the time being. It feels like this is very fresh and very new, like very recently, or, in kind of the very immediate future, this energy will align for you where it's kind of like, okay, a new prospective suitor is on the horizon, which may be a welcome relief for those of you that, it's been kind of like quiet, kind of dry as far as romance is concerned, or the options that you do have at this point in time. There's not a lot of progress with that. There's confusion with that, or you're just sort of like, yeah, nobody's really made a commitment to me. So until that happens, I consider myself single. And so this is somebody new that is kind of like in the equation, that is coming to the equation or is coming into the equation, that themselves bring something very unique and very different from other people that you're currently talking to, currently dealing with, or even kind of like previous people, sort of. And it almost feels like emotional readiness is what's coming through. So this person may be more emotionally ready to step up to the plate than people that you've encountered previously. Like, even if this is somebody that's not actively kind of like looking for love and romance, it feels that they might be more emotionally mature, or the nature of, their own kind of like issues, shadows, baggage. We all have that. It's not of the same quality or design or nature that is going to cause them to kind of just like bottle up those feelings and just sit within the energy of fear. They're not going to give you kind of the same runaround as other people might have done. Whatever could potentially surface between the two of you as like a challenge at some point in time, it feels that it's very different from what you've encountered. So this represents kind of like a step forward out of a certain pattern or type of person that you've been calling in, that you've been magnetizing into your life, or that you've encountered. We also have perspective. Yeah, so that's that hanged man energy, where again, this is something that is like very new, or is shortly to kind of be that sort of aha moment where you cross this person's path. They see you for the first time. With this energy though, this doesn't feel like hanged man where they're kind of just like, I'm stuck in place. I can't do anything more than just sort of like sit and watch for whatever reason. This is somebody that's kind of like, ooh, let me make a move. I see something and I want to go after that. This is somebody that feels like that will be very proactive in terms of like, they're not just going to linger and watch for very long. They're going to put themselves out there. They bring a level of personal confidence within self, or certainty within self, or just kind of like optimism as far as love and romance is concerned, that they don't fear rejection. This is somebody that's kind of like, they seize opportunities when they see them, or something within you just presents as this very kind of like a unique spark, something that awakens something emotionally within them that like they weren't prepared to feel. And so it's like, okay, let me go check that out, because it's so compelling, it's so enticing, it feels just right. Or it's the type of thing where this might have been someone that, when they're past, they sort of hesitated and missed out on opportunities, and it's kind of like, I won't know unless I take that chance and move forward. And so they don't want it to be like a missed opportunity with you. They definitely won't be like a long-term secret admirer. It's kind of just like, okay, let me look, let me be very captivated by this person, but let me make sure that I'm also very proactive in terms of like putting myself out there. And I'm hearing for love or friendship. So it feels like this is something where, this person would kind of settle for anything to be more a part of your world, to get in closer, to get to know you, whether it's something that, you make a new friend, or whether this is the kind of thing where it's like, hey, you might like me, we might have fun with one another. This could open up some romantic potentials. It's like they're not kind of putting limits on that, sort of what it could be, what it could develop into. Yeah, we also have bond. So again, this is somebody that is in a place of emotional readiness. Whatever their personal issues and baggage are as a result from sort of like previous relationships, it is nothing that is going to stand in the way of them taking that step forward towards you with an open heart, with clear and honest communication. Something that it's almost like they don't want you to mistake that they just want to come in and be a friend, although it feels like they'd settle for that, or they'd settle to kind of sit in the friend zone if you needed time to warm up to them, or like if you had other options. It's sort of like, yeah, I'm not in any kind of rush. I'm not, so pressed for time, or so desperate that it's kind of like I gotta overwhelm you and sort of just like prove that I'm better than everybody else, that you might be vying for your attention at this particular point in time. It's almost like this person sees as like strategy, patience, the long game is what really gets results, and especially based on the nature of how kind of like suddenly or unexpectedly, or even recently you've kind of come into their awareness for the first time. There is this energy of like, I want to be consistent and take steps forward, but I want to make sure that this is right for the two of us, that this isn't, I'm just kind of like drawn to something shiny that has appeared before me, that I'm drawn to somebody very captivating, very, very magnetic, very gorgeous, very mysterious, very alluring, very amazing. So this is somebody that is going to come forward with that energy of like, yeah, I'm open for love and partnerships. I don't have anything else going on. Doesn't feel like anybody that has other options at this particular point in time, because they don't want other options. They're in a place in their life where it's kind of, maybe they're busy with work, they got other things going on. This could also be somebody that has just sort of recently kind of made some major changes in their life, so they've just sort of like settled into their new reality, and lo and behold, in the midst of kind of like this new chapter that they have initiated for themselves, here is the energy of a potential romance that has come, strutting into their life, that has kind of like come into their awareness, that has come online for them. And so this is like, okay, I'm not going to miss out on that opportunity. This is something where this has presented itself. I'm curious, I'm drawn to you, I'm attracted to you, so I'm going to see what happens. Yeah, we've also got curiosity. So again, this is somebody that is like, you captivate their attention. Your light is very unique. Your presence is very unique. The way that you present yourself is very unique. Or it's something where they kind of encounter you in a way or at a time that it's like, ooh, I was just kind of, scanning through something, and all of a sudden it's like my heart sort of leaped forward. Who is this? This person may even like see a picture of you or see something that you post, and it's kind of like, wow, okay, you're a knockout. You're somebody that like everything within me is responding to that. So of course I'm gonna lean in closer. Of course I'm gonna, try to get to know you. Of course I'm gonna announce myself. Of course I'm gonna say something. This person again presents as like a very confident energy, but it's like a healthy level of confidence. You might actually be the one that gets nervous in their presence, because they are approaching you with almost like such a sense of certainty within themselves that may be very different from other suitors that you've dealt with recently, or like people in general, where it's kind of like the roles reverse. If you dealt with a lot of people before that were like, they got all nervous and flustered in your presence, you might be that person, where it's kind of like, okay, I'm normally confident, but then I get all gooey when you're looking at me. So this may be something where you're triggered, through the experience of this person, of sort of like, okay, I've been trying to call in love, I've been trying to manifest something with potential, something real, something I can work with, and all of a sudden here comes this person, and they're saying all the right things, and they're doing all the right things, and the vibe that they are putting off, it almost feels like will kind of very immediately give you indicators that like, yeah, there's a lot of potential to work with here. If it turns out that the two of you have things in common, and you're aligned with kind of what it is you're looking for in a long-term sense, and it feels like this person would make like a really good partner, and there might almost be a sense of nervousness within you, is kind of like doing a little happy dance, sort of like, okay, my wait is over, my search is over. There's is actually somebody that isn't just going to be like a waste of my time, isn't just going to like take me for a ride, isn't just going to be something that seems to have all this potential and I get my hopes up only to be let down. We've also got waterproof. So it feels like this is somebody that, again, is very like emotionally mature. This is somebody that has, you know, been through their ups and downs in life and in love, but they have healed that in a healthy way. They have closed doors to the past. This is not somebody that, you know, has their kind of emotional energy spread out everywhere. This is not somebody that is going to compare what they are experiencing with you or have the potential to experience with like previous partnerships. They've done some shadow work. You know, they've gotten over things. They've kind of like moved beyond that place of being embittered by past experiences, or, you know, being uncertain if they have what it takes to kind of like enter into another relationship. So it feels like the fact that you kind of like spark this curiosity within them, they're running headfirst towards that. With sort of like, yeah, I'm not afraid of emotions. I'm not somebody that is going to, you know, sort of close up when you're expressing your emotions. I'm not someone that's going to like be dry and withhold that from you. I'm not going to be somebody that kind of like dances around, you know, deep topics. I'm not going to be, you know, sort of quiet when I want to speak that truth. This is somebody that will be the first one to be like, I like you. I want to take you out on a date. I want to get to know you. It feels like this is someone that gives a lot emotionally. And so that might also be something that kind of brings up like nervousness within you. That's actually like like your soul doing a little happy dance inside. Like, okay, great. I've broken out of that pattern of people that always made me feel like I was chasing them. Always made me feel like I was asking for too much. Always made me feel that it was like, yeah, what I wanted was an unrealistic expectation. That it's like, finally there's somebody that knows what reciprocity really means, not just in theory but in practice. Finally there's somebody that is, you know, pursuing me, and not just in a way that is kind of like wasting my time or creating a lot of uncertainty. Finally there's somebody who has shown up in my reality that wants to give more than they take, that values my time, that values my presence, that values my energy, that values and loves themselves enough, that what they're bringing to the table is of a higher quality than what you dealt with or experienced in the past. We also have gifts. So yeah, this is somebody that it feels like is going to be very generous with their compliments. They're going to be very consistent. They're really big on communication, on speaking that truth. This is not going to be somebody that just kind of like gets you into some sort of prolonged talking stage, or, you know, where it's very ambiguous and kind of like, what are we? Where is this going? This is somebody that is like, when they take that step forward towards you, they continue to be consistent. This is like a true leader. This is somebody who is very gifted in terms of healthy partnerships, healthy relationships. They might have actually been in a partnership in the past where the two people went to like couples counseling or therapy, and even though that other connection came to its conclusion, this person like came away with a lot of tools, you know, as far as like how to actually build a healthy bond with another person. They didn't just go to those therapy sessions or those counseling sessions just for the benefit of the other person. They didn't kind of just smile and nod and tune everything out. This is somebody that has actually kind of like implemented sort of a strategy in terms of like, yeah, relationships take work. Getting to know people takes work. Human interactions, interpersonal relationships in general take work. And rather than kind of just showing up and thinking I'm the cat's meow and everybody else has to kind of rise to the occasion with me, this is somebody that's really good at like negotiations. They're really good at compromise. This is somebody that is really able to kind of be an active listener and to communicate their needs and their fears in like a very evolved and mature way. So it's almost like somebody that has done kind of the preparation at a previous chapter in their life to be able to give you an experience of like, wow, this is a mature relationship. Wow, this is somebody that is not just kind of like trying to get my attention and then they leave me with a lot of questions. Wow, this is somebody that is actually showing up that I think that I can build something with. We also have caching. So they see you as like a hidden gem, a hidden surprise. It's kind of like walking down the street and finding money on the ground. It's sort of like, ooh, let me reach for that. Let me seize that opportunity. Of course, I'm not going to walk by and pass that by. So unlike other kind of secret admirers you may have had, or even people that would have come out of the shadows before and tried to get to know you, this is somebody that like seizes the moment. They seize the opportunity. They find value in the experience between the two of you, and it feels like they'll bring value to the table as well. Again, this may be something where you just kind of have like a good time with this person. You go out on some dates, you get to know them, there's some flirtation. Maybe you find out that you're not compatible in terms of what you're looking for long term, but it's like, yeah, that was a fun experience. We're better off as friends. Great. Okay, so now we know that. But for others of you, this is sort of like the way in which this person approaches things, how they show up, and kind of just the natural chemistry between the two of you, coupled with, whatever it is that sort of happens in the real world, happens materially as you kind of both explore that. Because it feels like this person is very, very interested, very proactive about exploring that out loud, not just teasing around it, not just kind of suggesting, but like, let's get down to business here. That this signal is kind of like the start of what can be a very beautiful and fulfilling connection, something that works for the two of you. It's paced in a way that is kind of like, yeah, this meets both our needs. I feel valued and appreciated showing up. I feel this is a good kind of use of my time. I feel comfortable letting this person in, letting them get to know me. It feels like they're offering a lot as well in terms of letting me get to know them. So overall, it feels like this is a very good kind of like secret admirer. This is something where you're not just going to roll your eyes and be like, great, somebody else watching from the shadows that won't take action. This is somebody that it's like they again have like recently kind of encountered you, come across you, seen you for the first time, and so that may have even been in the last several days. And so it's like, okay, I'm gonna keep looking, and I'm gonna step forward and do something. Or this is somebody that's coming in like very, very quickly, where they encounter you and it's like they don't just sit around and sort of like, ooh, I don't know what I'm feeling, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's kind of like, I might not know these things, but I can figure them out along the way. Let me introduce myself, let me approach, let me put myself out there for this person, and see if we have something that can work together. So those are your messages. I hope that they resonated with you and that you enjoyed the reading. Like or comment to claim these energies. Subscribe to my channel if you'd like to see more content that I put out here. Don't forget to hit the bell button to get notifications every time I post a new video. And if you would like to book a personal reading with me, I offer those through my Etsy shop, and there's a link for that below. I hope to see you again in another reading. Please take care and be well.